River spirit, if you really exist, make me beautiful so that men can love me and marry me. I am tired of being ignored. I can give you a beauty that no one in this village has ever seen. Your face will attract all eyes. Men will pursue you like butterflies pursue light. And the love you ask for will come too. But each gift of the spirits must be balanced. When your first child will come into the world, it will belong to me. And if I never have children, then I would have nothing to take. I accept.
A wave broke out of the water and smashed the face of Hadisewa. The water was frozen. When she opened her eyes again, the luminous silhouette was already disappearing in the river. Her voice resonated one last time in the night. The pact is sealed. A week passed after the birth of the child. Hadisewa's house was still full of visitors, songs, and blessings. The women of the village came to admire the baby, bring gifts, and whisper prayers for her long life. But behind her smiles, Hadisewa carried a terrible weight in her heart. Every night, when everyone was sleeping, she remained awake while watching her child breathe gently into her cradle. And every night, the same thoughts came back. The river, the promise, the spirit. She knew she could no longer keep this secret. Then one evening, when the court became silent and the last visitors left the house, Hadisewa asked her mother and her husband to stay with her. Her husband, Adekunle, sat in front of her, his face calm but attentive. Her mother, Ishe, observed her daughter with a silent concern. Hadisewa took a deep breath. Then she said softly, "I have to tell you something." Her voice trembled slightly. She told them everything. The night she went to the river, the voice that had come out of the water, the promise she had made, the pact, and the prayer. When she finished, the room became completely silent. Adekunle remained still, as if trying to understand what he had just heard. But the strangest reaction was that of his mother. The old woman did not scream. She did not ask any questions. She just became very silent. Her eyes were fixed on the sleeping child. Then, slowly, she sighed. "Mother, why don't you say anything?" The old woman raised her eyes to her daughter and murmured softly, "Because I knew this day would come." Hadisewa frowned. "What do you mean?" The old woman remained silent for a few seconds. Then she said something that no one in the room could have imagined. "This is not the first time that the river has asked for someone from our family." Hadisewa's heart tightened. What? His mother gently placed her hand on hers and began to tell a story that she had kept secret all her life. "When you were little, you were barely 3 years old." The old woman looked at the flame of the lamp as if she was reliving that moment. "One day, you fell into the river." Hadisewa squinted. She had no memory of it. "The current was strong," continued her mother, "and when the men took you out of the water, you no longer breathed. The room became icy." Hadisewa was now looking at the old woman with total attention. "Everyone thought you were dead," she murmured. Hadisewa felt his throat tighten. "But I couldn't accept it." The mother lowered her head. "Then I did something I should never have done." She slowly raised her eyes. "I returned alone to the river that night, and I begged the spirit of the water to bring you back to life. The spirit accepted." The old woman took a break. Then she ended with a low voice. "But he left something in you." Hadisewa murmured. "Something?" His mother gently placed her hand on her chest. "A part of him. Since that day, a drop of the spirit of the river lives in your blood." Hadisewa stood up slightly. "Then the pact?" The old woman slowly raised her head. "Yes." She looked at the baby sleeping peacefully. Then she said a sentence that made the whole room shiver. "If this spirit comes to claim your child," she raised her eyes to her daughter, "he will discover a truth he does not expect." Hadisewa murmured, "What truth?" The old woman calmly replied, "That this child is already carrying his blood." The flame of the lamp flared, and in the silence of the night, the old woman concluded, "This spirit does not come to look for a victim." She looked at the child, then murmured, "He comes to see his own grandson." The evening after all the truths were revealed, everything seemed calm in the house. The baby was sleeping peacefully, wrapped in a soft fabric, put in the arms of her mother. But in Adesewa's heart, the waiting was heavy. She knew that the spirit would come. Her mother was sitting near the door, silent, as if she was listening to something that the others could not hear. Her husband, Adekunole, stood up in the yard, arms crossed, looking in the direction of the river. The night was moving slowly. And then, suddenly, the wind changed. A cold breeze crossed the yard, making the leaves of the trees tremble. The oil lamps wavered slightly. Adesewa's mother raised her head. "He arrives," she murmured. A few moments later, the sound of the water was heard. Not a violent noise, a slow, deep noise, as if the river was breathing. Adesewa stood up slowly, squeezing her child against her chest. She went out into the yard with her mother and her husband. In the distance, the surface of the river shone under the moon. Then the water began to move. It began to turn slowly, forming a dark circle in the middle of the river. And then the lightness silhouette appeared. Her voice resonated softly. Adesewa. Adesewa's heart beat loudly, but she did not retreat. She squeezed her baby against her. The spirit continued. "You have received what you wanted. Beauty, love." Her eyes fell on the child. "Now, I come to get what belongs to me." Adekunle took a step forward, but the mother of Adesewa slowly raised her hand to stop her. Then she moved forward alone. The spirit looked at her with curiosity. The old woman spoke in a calm voice. "Before taking this child, take a good look at him." The spirit frowned slightly, but he looked at the baby. The mother continued. "Look at his eyes." The spirit remained still. The river behind him trembled slightly. The old woman then said gently, "Do you not recognize your own blood?" A deep silence invaded the night. The spirit looked at Adesewa. Then he looked at the child. Then again at Adesewa. The mother continued. "Years ago, my daughter died in your river. The river began to move slightly, and it was you who brought her back to life." The voice of the old woman became more serious. "You left a part of yourself in her." She gently designated the child. "And this part now lives in him. This child is already aligned with you." The spirit remained still for a few more seconds. Then he slowly lowered his head. "Humans," his voice was almost a murmur, "always find unexpected paths." He looked at the child one last time. Then his eyes landed on Adesewa. "Keep it." The light around him began to fade. "Because we do not steal our own blood." The luminous silhouette sank slowly into the water. The river became calm again. The wind calmed down, and the night found its silence. Adesewa looked at the dark surface of the river for a long time. Then she held her child against her. Her mother gently placed a hand on her shoulder, and Adekunle murmured, "Then is it over?" The old woman looked at the river. Then she answered gently, "No." She looked at the baby. It was just the beginning, because in the years to come, the inhabitants of the village would notice something strange. Every time the child approached the river, the water slowly spread out in front of him. The end.